Welcome to Tuesday's devotions, and today we come and consider the Eighth Commandment. And it's the third of the three very short commandments. You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, and now you shall not steal. So, what does this commandment require? And the Catechism helps us and says, requires the lawful procuring and furthering the wealth and outward estate of ourselves and others. And I love this. The Catechism is again wanting to put a positive focus on this commandment. It's not just that you don't do this, it's what you should be doing. And behind this, it's speaking of a lifestyle in which people live to work and to serve the needs of themselves and the needs of others also. The next question answers this in the Catechism, that it forbids whatsoever does or may unjustly hinder our own or our neighbour's wealth or outward estate. And so it speaks against doing that which is wrong, that would indeed damage our neighbour's health, that would indeed be unlawful in our actions towards our neighbour. And so the Catechism, the answers given are put a strong emphasis on being concerned for the needs of others. And keeping the commandment to love one another means that we will not steal from them, will not hurt them in that way. It also means being active in working for the good of others. Ephesians 4:28, Paul says this, let the thief no longer steal, but rather let him labour, doing honest work with his own hands, so that he may have something to share with anyone in need. And so the Catechism is saying, like, in keeping this commandment, it's not just that you don't go into your neighbours and take their wallet or so forth. What this commandment means is that you have a life that is lived not just for selfish means, but is lived so that you can have money and the finances, resources to help care for the needs of others. Think of Adam. He was placed, even before the fall, he was placed in Eden to work after creation, to care for it. And so we work so that to do good, yes, for the world we live in, for ourselves, to do good for those who are around us. Jesus calls for a life that's lived for the benefit of others. Love your neighbour as yourself. Love, show care, show kindness. It's the grace of Christ entering someone's soul that moves them from selfishness, focusing on themselves, to selflessness, focusing rather on others. And think of Jesus as the perfect example. He lived a life devoted to doing good to others. And following Jesus means having a similar love. It means living a life that's positive, that's to serve, that's to help. And that includes earning money to be able to have the resources to do that for others. It's wonderful to have money, to have homes, to have possessions that we can use for the good of others. And Jesus says it's more blessed to give than receive. And if we fail to give, if we fail to love, then surely we're guilty of stealing. Let me mention just a few ways that we can steal, and which we maybe don't realise. We can steal by being dishonest in our tax returns, stealing from the government. Remember, Jesus says, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and unto God what is God's. So we can be stealing by doing that. The Bible also teaches we can be stealing from God by not giving a tithe, a tenth of our income for his service, for the work of the kingdom. We can steal time by not doing our jobs diligently, and indeed being lazy when the boss's eye is maybe not on us. We can steal resources from the workplace, using them for our own benefit. I love this story of how after the great movement of God in the 1920s under W.P. Nicholson, that when the shipyard workers, so many were converted, they had to indeed open warehouses to put in all the things that were returned by those who had stolen but now converted Christ are giving. May God give us the grace not to be grabbers, but to be givers, to have the heart of Christ that loves, that serves, that delights in giving to others. Amen.